Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Sunny Side Up. And today I want to talk about why I feel justice is served in the Abby and Libby Delphi case. There are some people who think that Richard Allen is innocent, but I am not one of those people. I did kind of feel like there was not a lot of evidence, but I feel like there was enough to convince me that he was guilty. So aside from the main evidence, which is the bullet from his gun being found in between the two victims, it was some things he said in his confessions that I felt only the killer would know, that made me really think that he was the one. So he made like 60 confessions, and in one of them he said that he got spooked by the van that went down the road, and that caused him to change what he was gonna do, and he just killed the girls because he got spooked. And the whole time I've followed this case, I never once heard about a van, the Weber van going down the drive. And I've followed this case since it first started, and like I never even heard of any of that. And it makes sense. Like, a lot of us were like, why was there no DNA found? Why did he just kill them and just, that's it, you know? And it's because he got spooked. I thought it was interesting too, in one of his confessions, he said they were younger than what he thought they would be. Almost like he doesn't want to be portrayed as like a guy that likes 12-year-olds or 13-year-olds. Almost like he wanted that to be out there, like, oh, I'm not a pedophile or whatever. I thought they were older. So that's an interesting thing to put out there, you know, in your fake confession, because it's like something he felt bad about, maybe for real, as a murderer. Maybe he really did think they were older, and when he found out how old they were, he was maybe disgusted that maybe he don't even agree with, you know, people being with or being attracted to that young of a girl. So that was interesting to me that he had to throw that in there. And then when he said that he used a box cutter and threw it in the trash, it's kind of like, well, it could be why we haven't found the murder weapon. It's in the trash somewhere. And they did say it could have been a box cutter. And who would have thought of a box cutter, though? Nobody ever mentioned Sibley being a box cutter. So those are like the main things that come to me of why I think he's guilty. Also, he places himself at the crime by saying he was there that day and during the times they were murdered. Now, he was the only man reported to be there at that time. Like later on, David McCain, I believe his name is, he was walking from another direction, and several witnesses said they saw Rich Guy Everyone said they saw the guy that was in the video. The guy that they saw in the video and the guy they saw in person was the same person. And so there was a male. So that proves there's like a male walking around by himself. And Richard Allen was the only male there by himself. And he admitted that he probably parked at an abandoned building, which is where they think the murderer parked. So I feel like he's guilty. Another thing is, everybody always talked about how fast he walked across that bridge. And his daughter testified that they had been on the bridge several times. So, I mean, I don't know. First of all, what father would take their daughter on that rickety-rackety bridge? That's kind of crazy that he did that. And, you know, it shows he's comfortable and familiar with that bridge, and that's why he was able to walk so fast on it. Now, I do feel they could have had more evidence had the police not forgot about him for 5 years. Like, apparently, this is what I've got out of it. He called in the tip line because his wife told him to, and this was right after the murders happened. He said he was there that day and what times he was there. Then I heard that someone followed up with the tip and told him they wanted to talk to him, but the only way they could talk, according to him, was in a grocery store parking lot or something. So they talked for a bit, and then he was forgotten about. And he was filed in a wrong spot, or they just didn't think he was the one. Which, that's what I don't get. Why would he not be a person of interest to you guys, to the police? He's putting himself there at that time. He's the only man putting himself there. And they just dismissed him for a long time, like 5 years, until the volunteer went through all the tips and she saw the tip from Richard Allen, and then they revisited him. So that's where they went wrong, because if originally when they first talked to him they got a search warrant for his house, possibly, they could have got blood evidence maybe on his clothes or shoes. But he had 5 years to get rid of his clothes and shoes, and that's probably what he did. So then when they did look at his house and do a search in 2022, they found no evidence but the gun that had the same bullet as the one found at the crime scene. So I feel like the police failed this case, and I think it's because it's a small town and they probably didn't even know what to do or where to begin. The other thing I'm confused about is the guy and his dad who were talked to several years ago, and he admitted to catfishing them. And one of Libby's friends said she talked to that catfish, the Anthony guy, and he even said he was supposed to meet them that day. So I don't get where that all plays in. I almost feel like Richard Allen knew to be there. I felt like Abby and Libby were there to meet someone, and I feel like Richard Allen was there to meet someone. So that's what I don't get. The only thing I could think of to tie all that in is that they were talking to multiple people Anthony just happened to be one of them, and somehow they were talking to Richard Allen thinking he was someone else. But I feel like the police would have found that on Libby's phone. But of course they wouldn't have found it on his phone because he got rid of his phone years before they even zoomed in on him. So basically, that's the part I don't get. Like, I always thought they would tie him into the Keegan guy, who was the catfisher. I thought maybe, like, Keegan gave Richard Allen the information those girls were going to meet him, but he couldn't make it, so Richard Allen went. Like, that's what I don't understand. So there's questions I still have, but I may never know the answers because the police don't even know the answers. I feel like justice is served with Richard Allen being found guilty, but I feel like all this could happen a lot sooner. So rest in peace, Abby. Rest in peace, Libby. You both are remembered. We remember you guys. We know your little personalities and stuff thanks to your family who keeps your spirit alive. I'm not gonna remember the way he left them, but I'm gonna just remember them as the girls like we all used to be. When everything's funny, you're always laughing, you're always giggling. That's life as a 13, 14-year-old. And that's how I'm gonna remember Abby and Libby. I just wanted to give my opinion on this case because I've covered it on my channel. And I'll see you in the next one.
You told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. Guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I